It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belgast, and let's start the show. Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 294. Tonight I'm joined by Emo.
Hello.
Ashgar.
Dun, 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 dun.
Kodra.
Hi.
Tam.
Do 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 do.
Dalen.
Hey.
So, apologies for not having a show last week, but things happened. It was a bad weekend for Bell, and I think it was a topic short weekend for other people.
Yeah, I think we were mostly playing stuff we had already played. I continue to be absolutely obsessed with Stellaris now. I have finally won a game of Stellaris, and it was incredibly anticlimactic. Before in-game crisis even happened, I had completely conquered the galaxy.
Oh, I guess congrats then on conquering the galaxy.
It's always good to be able to conquer the galaxy. It's good to be king, or the fanatic purifier head, whatever that is.
I was going to say, you can definitely conquer the galaxy as more than one empire. Like, that's clearly the track we're headed on in our multiplayer game.
It's true.
Our Federation is going to control the entire galaxy one way or the other.
So, this first topic's going to be pretty short. My life has been very complicated since, the plague happened. As a result, I think everybody's life has been very complicated since the plague happened.
My son calls it the sickness.
Oh, that is both kind of charming and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Every morning he asks us if the sickness is gone.
Oh my. This is the beginning of a post-apocalyptic movie.
Yes. It feels very post-apoc.
Yeah, it's like the world has started to feel like something's wrong finally. For the longest time it was real creepy just because it didn't seem like anything was different. I think I'd rather return to that. Even though we were under orders to stay at home and shelter in place and all that, the world largely looked unchanged, but the world is starting to look very changed. I'm not sure what I think about that, but so managing a team remotely is a thing. It's a lot like raid leadership, which is not a thing I ever expected to return to, but hey, I'm doing it. But as a result of this, and the biggest problem that I'm having with remote work is I don't really have a great balance between what is work time and what is not work time. And that they check into work way too early and I leave way too late. So that's a thing. So when I'm not working, I have needed some sort of a game that I could play, that I could get enjoyment out of, kind of like slipping on a warm sweater that I didn't have to think about at all. It is a game I can turn my brain off for. And what better game than World of Warcraft? So I've been back playing retail a lot. In part because they have a nonsense leveling buff on right now. And I have been working on a stable of Horde characters since I mostly played Alliance for the majority of the time, but I now feel way more comfortable Horde side, so I've been playing a bunch of alts. And on a whim the other night, I decided to name my spirit bear Ashgar because it fits. It's a bear and it's a spirit animal, and it's very Ashgar-y. And then today I decided to go further and just start naming all my pets off people that I know. So I have Grace the Godzilla, and then I have a white raptor that was a brood mother that I named after a friend of mine, Kelric. Thalen is an owl that reminds me of the great owl from Secret of Nim.
Who, I say.
So I think I'm on a mission to find animals to name them for a lot of my friends. I feel like for Kodra I need to find something that's purple and green. I don't know what I'm going to find.
Probably another raptor.
It's probably another raptor or maybe a Ravager. There are probably purple and green Ravagers.
Yeah.
I think Chimera have those colors too.
I named my Corehound Chandra because she was the one who was pulling the Corehound packs in Molten Core days. Yeah, so like that's the thing that I'm doing, and it brings me a stupid amount of enjoyment. And it's kind of happy just to play at the tail end of an expansion when everything's very easy. I think I like the tail end of WoW expansions better than any other time in WoW. Because, like, nobody's really doing anything. You just kind of piddle around and level and mess around with your alts. And if I could somehow, like, keep myself from carrying beyond the amount that I care right now, which is minimal, like, that would be ideal WoW for me, is just playing purely casually. But I never can seem to arrive at that point. But the leveling buff right now is just, I don't know how to describe it. 2 nights ago, I was level 70 on this character, my hunter, and I am now 114. On most of the expansion content, I'm not even finishing a single zone before I have leveled out of the content and move on to the next area. I think they're trying to prep people for what it's going to be like after the level squish. But yeah, like it's just a silly amount of leveling speed, which is nice because I'm trying to level a bunch of Horde characters. But anyway, so I expect to have characters named after you, or pets named after you.
I mean, that's a much more reasonable naming convention than my Pokemon naming convention.
What is your Pokemon naming convention? Is it just that Eli names things?
Eli names everything, and so it's mostly whatever like pops into his line of vision first.
Seems entirely reasonable.
Please tell me you have something named Pop-Tart.
I don't think we have a pop. I don't think Eli's ever eaten a Pop-Tart.
Ah, okay. I now want to name something Pop-Tart.
I know I was around when you recruited Magnemite in Mystery Dungeon, so that's named after me.
Yep, it sure is.
I've never really known what to name pets. So, like, I usually had a DPS pet and a tanky pet, and they were named the same thing regardless of what character I was on. But I like this whole naming them after people thing.
I've used a lot of different naming schemes. For a while, I was naming them after musical concepts or other artistic concepts. I mean, my Chocobo in FF14 is still named that way. My Chocobo is called Ostavato.
I mean, could be better, or it could be worse. I think Moore's Chocobo in Final Fantasy XIV is named Cordy. And I found out he was tooling around like on a little bitty alt, and apparently he named that one's Chocobo whatever the French version of Cordy is.
Azerty, probably.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a bad name or an amazing name. So a game that I'm surprised I'm not playing is PSO2. Ash, you bought a SAD for this.
I bought an Xbox SAD for this. For
SADBox.
Those of you not to know, that's Xbox S All Digital. So you can see where the abbreviation comes from.
I picked up a SADBox for this.
I mean, I bought it deeply on sale, so it was only a little more expensive than like a digital deluxe version of another game. But the PSO2 is out, quote unquote. It is an open beta in North America, which is to say it is released, but it's only released on the Xbox One. Despite this, I'm still enjoying it. I started as a summoner, which is definitely the class with the most upfront systems, because instead of having a weapon, you have a pet. And you can have several different pets, and they have different abilities. And you upgrade them in a very different way than how you upgrade normal weapons, and things get weird.
I played the tutorial because I had mucked about with character creation for an extremely long time before deciding that I wanted to play a mecha with a sword.
There are a lot of options in character creation.
There really are.
My character's real creepy. I decided to go with the mecha, but give it a human face. Because that's a thing you can do in Phantasy Star Online, too.
Yeah, you can decide to make the human faces look somewhat robotic or not robotic at all, or...
Yeah, mine looks somewhat robotic. Like, it definitely looks like an android head on a body, but, like, it's still a little creepy.
I went with the demon-looking fellows. The Doomen, I guess.
I'm probably going to make
the original.
I'm probably going to make a couple of different characters, unless that's just like an incredibly bad idea.
No, you can make 3, and it's a very good idea.
All right. That's about the number I was going to make anyway, until I figure out what I want to play.
I should like hunters, but I don't like hunters.
I like hunters.
Hunter's the big sword one?
Yes.
Yeah. Like
I like it so far, but I haven't tried anything else.
Hunter is just what I'm used to, because in Phantasy Star Portable, I played the melee class.
I played the Ranger, which is basically the gun class, or the simple gun class back in the day, and that's what I'm used to in this game. And like kiting is super easy and powerful.
That's still true.
So you can basically just never get touched. And you can still use like the doorways between areas as gates. Because that was the thing that I used to do back in Phantasy Star Online, the original, is you would basically like let things come towards you until you almost got touched, and then you'd walk through the gate, and then reset it, and walk through the gate, and then reset it.
They have some systems in place to make that not a great idea, but you can still do it.
You can still do it, yeah, you can still do it. But stuff usually dies before it gets close to you now, whereas it's like stuff isn't as bullet spongy as it was back in the original.
I mean, I'm sure eventually it's going to get there, because I'm only level 30-something, and I still feel very, very strong compared to the things I'm fighting that are about my level.
I played the Japanese one for a while back when we were trying to do that, and it never stopped being where I was feeling powerful.
I have seen a few things. There is they have a limited time quest that pops up, except pops up like every 2 or 3 hours. So I've seen it a number of times now. That is versus a super boss. So much that you get a picture of your squad after you finish killing it. But even that is not terribly difficult. Although we did at least have a party member die, so it can kill you if you're not careful.
I remember doing those, and honestly, like, a lot of the content in Phantasy Star Online reminds me of the same kind of difficulty level as, like, Dragalia Lost or something like that. It's mostly a lot of stay out of the bad.
Yeah, enemies seem to hit really hard if you get hit, so it's important to not get hit. And pretty much all classes have some way to not get hit. Granted, Rangers is by not standing close to anything.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That works.
The other thing that's like that came back to me, like I had never stopped doing it, was the combo system, where like the timing of attacks in order to keep a combo string going, because you can't just mash a button. You have to hit it in a very specific rhythm to keep a combo going.
You can just mash the button, and your attacks will keep coming out.
Yeah, but they won't be as effective.
Yes.
But like, there's a specific timing, and it's been that way since the very first game. And
yeah, it didn't take me very long to come back to it either.
It was just like, oh yeah, no, I remember how to do this.
Like, there are some things, like some weapon types I'm not used to. I'm not used to those combos being available for Magic, and they are now. I wasn't used to the fancy dual sword thing that fighters get, because I don't think that was in Phantasy Star Portable.
No.
And the spear wasn't either. P.S. I think the spear is the best hunter weapon, although it's also the only one that can't block normally. So, trade-offs. At least I find it enjoyable. It's fast and long-ranged.
I don't remember what the classes were in the original. I know Ranger was in there. I know Hunter was in there.
Ranger, Hunter, and Force.
Force was it?
Yep.
Okay. I knew there was a caster, but that's, like, I didn't know if there were multiple casters or not.
This game launched with just those 3 classes, too.
Brawler, Bruiser, whatever, Bouncer. Looks interesting. Whatever that one's called. Because that's kind of a monk class, isn't it?
You might be thinking of Braver?
Maybe.
It's the one with bow and katana? I don't know. So they have Ranger, they have Hunter, and they have Force. And those are the starting classes. And then you have Fighter, which is Hunter, but minus all the defense. You have Gunner, which is Ranger, but what if we took all the range off? And Techer, which is what if spellcasters were melee? And despite all those things sounding like negatives, all those classes work pretty well.
Well, what's funny, though, is Techer was a thing that was in the first game, but, like, that's who you bought everything from. Techers.
But after adding those, then they added some additional classes that were unrelated to the originals. Braver, which is a bow katana class that is capable of using both and has some stances that ask you to hit precise things. Bouncer, which is a class about fighting in the air, quote unquote.
I like
Bouncer is what I was thinking of.
I think I need to try this class because I like fighting in the air, and I feel like if you've named your class a bouncer, that's a hilarious. I was like, all right, bouncer. Like, all right, I played that game. No, like a bouncy ball. I'm here for it.
Yes, like I love this class. His weapon options are jet boots, which involve you kicking things and using magic, and what they call them in the US, soaring blades, which just involve you being a Final Fantasy boss and shooting swords at everything. They're both incredibly fun. They're both moderately complicated, and I feel like when I do things on that class, things die, and I don't know why.
Some things happen in death.
The enemies died, I'm fine. I have lots of buffs, because that's the other thing Bouncer does. Bouncer has a lot of support. It has some attacks that also cast buffs for free as part of the attack. It's a fun class. And then the other class that we have anyway is Summoner.
How does Summoner work?
You have a pet, and you hold a thing that looks a lot like a musical baton, and you wave this around and command your pet to do things for you. Like, you literally command it to attack and use special abilities. It's not any less active than other classes. It just looks weird. A thing I'm discovering, though, is that it has a completely different upgrade system than all of the other classes. You upgrade your pets, and that's not every other class need to upgrade their weapons. Which leads into one of the things that I don't really like. It is very difficult to fix mistakes in this game. Mostly related to your mag. Unless you have been told how you should level a mag, you're probably not going to do it correctly initially. And fixing it is moderately expensive. Way less expensive than it was in the Japanese version, because I guess they figured that we should make it possible to undo.
Do you only have one mag?
You only get one mag.
Okay, yeah, that's vastly different than the original. Because, like, it didn't really matter if you screwed one up, because you just start over and get a new one.
Yeah, you can't replace your mag. You can get a mag reset pass for $5, or you can get a new mag for $3, like a new additional mag. So I don't know why you would ever reset your mag. Either way, you have a new level 0 mag to start with.
But this time I can't put it in the VMU and play with it, like, or whatever.
Oh my god.
That was a thing you could do in the original Dreamcast one.
Look, I know. The VMU was an idea that people had.
You could level up your mag that way.
Your mag's primary function in this one seems to be to provide stats and to give you a super attack. It can theoretically do other things, but mostly it won't do those things. Like, I think mine has a passive ability to restore HP, and I have never once seen it work. But I'm having a lot of fun with this game. Unfortunately, due to timing-related reasons, I'm probably not going to be playing a lot of it for a little while.
Because a major game came out this week. In fact, it came out yesterday. If you got it digitally, and maybe another time if you got it physically.
I mean, if you were on the West Coast, you were able to play it at 9 p.m. on Thursday.
And I sure did.
Final Fantasy VII has been remade.
Probably.
I feel like the correct term should be reimagined.
Re-something.
I mean, the actual game's title is Final Fantasy VII Remake, but really? Really?
Yeah, it's underselling it.
I mean, it's a remake in the way that the Primal fights are remakes in Shadowbreakers.
It's a remake. Some of the same beats, I guess.
It's a remake the way Enter the Spider-Verse is a remake.
No, it's really fun, but yeah, it's very different.
It's fascinating to me how much it hits. So I'm playing it alongside somebody who has never seen the original, and it's interesting to get like both of our perspectives. But boy, does it manage to ride the line between nodding and winking to people who have already played it and leaving you guessing, and telling a reasonably coherent story for people who aren't, like, if you don't know about Final Fantasy VII, which, P.S., if you've gotten this far and you have not played the original Final Fantasy VII, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe play this game.
Yeah, maybe go play this game.
But yeah, see you next week. We're going to probably spoil a lot of the original Final Fantasy VII and probably a little bit less of the remake, other than saying, like, hey, things get fleshed out. Like, I would say if there's any major divergences, we can leave those as spoilers, because I know I haven't run into anything.
run into a lot of minor ones.
Yeah, I've run into a lot of minor ones.
A lot of minor ones.
But okay, so I've run into a lot of minor ones, but I still feel like I can get back to where the story is from where I'm at. It doesn't feel like there's been anything where it's like, oh, this is just completely gonna lead to a different ending.
I don't know about that. Maybe. But even in the demo, there's that hint. Like,
what hint in the demo are you talking about?
I'm talking about who actually blows up the reactor, because it sure isn't you.
Oh yeah.
And that's not small.
It's true. But at the same time I can still, even given that, like, that's recontextualizing something, but I can still believe that happened in the first game. Like, you aren't there when the reactor explodes in the original, are you? Because you're escaping while the timer's ticking down.
Well, I mean, the really important part is that in the original, when the reactors explode, there isn't collateral damage. It's mildly inconvenient for the people who needed the power from the reactor. But the scene with Shinra in the original, the like cutaway scene that you get is them talking about rerouting power and them having a much bigger concern in the form of Sephiroth murdering people. But like them actually causing the reactor to be a much bigger explosion and have all sorts of collateral damage is like, that's a departure. It definitely amps up Shinra from like generically evil corporation that you fight because that's just what you do to like these people are actively awful.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is probably good.
Yes. Yeah. Like it makes the whole Shinra corporation more of like a real threat. Like I guess it makes the lines a lot clearer. Things were a little bit murkier before. Yeah,
Shinra is definitely a much bigger threat.
Some commentary I've seen seems to indicate that some people did not realize that Avalanche was supposed to be an eco-terrorist organization in the original, I guess.
Really?
What?
Yes, really.
I mean, some people weren't paying attention.
Seriously.
It happens a lot.
Oh, jeez.
Like, that's a...
Or never actually played the original and just,
That's probably more likely.
I mean, it's a real old game at this point.
Yeah, like, you're a terrorist.
23-year-old game, yeah.
I mean, the returners from 6 are also terrorists.
I mean, like, Cloud being kind of taciturn and not totally on board is not an unreasonable stance to be taking. And I feel like the remake makes that a lot less ambiguous. Because it's like in the original, you're like, why is he such a dick to these like otherwise nice people? Well, because those people are actually terrorists.
Yeah.
Like, FYI.
But also Cloud has opinions about Shinra of his own, so whatever.
It's true.
Totally, absolutely correct opinions about Shinra of his own that are formed of his own memories and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Playing up... Oh, the other thing that this remake does incredibly well is make it way clearer that Cloud has some serious PTSD. And, like, it affects him in really unfortunate ways, like, more or less constantly.
Yeah, it's never clear to me, like, I guess it feels like when the first game came out, it was really before PTSD was a, like, well-known thing.
It was also before we got good translations of Japanese games, which I think I mentioned a few times.
Both of these things, yes.
But, yeah, definitely having his, like, he constantly has flashbacks to, like, his time in Soldier and is haunted by that definitely works better through that as a metaphor for that.
Well, I mean, and actually literally having, like, otherwise innocuous things that happen to him trigger, like, awful flashbacks.
Yeah.
There's a lot less swearing than I remember.
That's because Barrett isn't just a Mr. T stereotype.
It's fair.
Yeah, Barrett is a very different character. Like, he's a charismatic eco-warrior.
I mean, I gotta say, I still don't love him.
Also, I haven't met Sid yet, who was the other source of a lot of swearing in the original.
That's fair. We have not met Sid yet. Barrett is awesome. like he's probably the most, like, characterful, fleshed out character in the first, like, disc of the game.
Yeah, but like he's getting dangerously close to Carthonasi for me because he's that character that like I'm gonna tell you to do some shit, but I don't trust you, and I'm gonna belittle you the entire way.
I guess that's fair.
You're constantly telling him to give you money.
There's pretty good reason for that during the first part of the game.
Yeah, in this game, so because we are just doing Midgard, this is a very stretched out Midgard. You ask both Barrett and Tifa for your money a lot.
Yeah, like you're a dick to Barrett. Much less of a dick to Tifa.
I just remember that I didn't like Barrett in the original, and as soon as I could stop playing with Barrett, I did.
I can't wait to play with Barrett again because, oh my goodness, all of the characters play very differently, and they are all so much fun.
Tifa is my favorite character to play as so far. Tifa is my favorite character to play as so far.
Tifa is incredibly fun.
That does not surprise me because Tifa plays like a fighting game character.
Other favorite character. So I've got Aerith. And I'm going to try to remember to use the TH instead of an S because she's actually got the TH now. But yeah, you get Aerith, and her immediate first ability makes it abundantly clear that she is your primary spellcaster. Because it's like, oh, some people can cast spells if they want to cast spells, and like Barrett's a little bit better with it than everybody else, but that's fine. Not like enough to make a huge difference.
And then Cloud's second weapon is pretty good as far as magic power goes.
Oh yeah. And then you get Aerith, and her first ability is, how about double cast? And you're like, what? Just like make an area on the ground, and if you're standing in it, you double cast you automatically cast the spell a second time for free. If that sounds ridiculous, it is.
I appreciate that they found a way to make spells powerful without doing what FF15 did.
I agree.
I don't even remember. What did FF15 do?
They were consumable and did friendly fire.
Yeah.
They weren't great. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the combat system here that I feel like they have done better than any previous Final Fantasy game.
This combat system is very, very fun. I feel like it could be more obvious when my ATB is filled or how much ATB I have. Maybe
you get an audio cue every time you get a bar.
Yeah, it's the audio cue for me.
Oh, interesting. Audio cues clearly don't work very well for me because this is not the first time I've been told there's a good audio cue, and I've been missing it this whole time.
There always used to be in the original, and part of it is because I played a whole lot of the original.
Yeah, it's the same sound.
The original had a particular sound when an ATB filled up, and it brought up the menu for that character, and it's the same sound.
Oh, I can probably listen for that.
Yeah, that sound is the sound that is when you get an ATB bar, it pings that way. And there's another variant of it that pings when a party member that you're not controlling fills their ATB bar, but they never seem to actually do that.
Yeah, I've noticed that very rarely do my allies fill their ATB bar.
They only seem to fill with time. They don't seem to fill with attacks.
Yeah. Well, they're also way less aggressive. Like, your allies favor... I mean, my allies are significantly better at avoiding damage than I am.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
But they play very, very defensively.
So there is one fight in which I feel that is very much not true. There's the big mutant dog that you have to fight at the end of the side quest chains.
Mm-hmm.
That dog, like, I was able to avoid its attacks, but it would just wreck my party member. I had to use like 2 Phoenix Downs through that fight.
I did that fight mostly as Tifa, and Cloud was pretty good at avoiding it.
I did the fight mostly as Cloud, and Tifa was not good at avoiding it.
It feels like Tifa's single target seems way, way better than Cloud's. Especially if she gets a little bit of time on target.
Oh, yeah. She crushes people.
Cloud's sword swings very wide, and he will obliterate a group of people.
Oh yes.
But yeah, no. Especially if you get up to Rise and Fall, Omni Strike, Whirlwind Uppercut, that's a ridiculous amount of burst damage.
Yes. Also, Tifa's Limit Break is dumb.
Oh god, yeah.
Like, I thought Cross Slash was ridiculous, but Somersault is just take You want 5 digits? We can give you 5 digits.
That move has never not been the end of a fight for me. Now, it's mostly come at the end of a fight, but it always finishes the job.
I also like that weapons are relevant for a lot longer.
The fact that weapons can level up, and they level up differently, means that different weapons stay relevant.
Yeah.
Like, for me, Cloud's Buster Sword is still his strongest physical sword, but his second sword is stronger if I want to have him casting magic.
Yep. I have 4 swords for Cloud at this point, including one that made me laugh a whole lot when I got it, because it makes so much more sense than when you normally get it. And I like all but one of them.
Is it the giant bat?
It's the giant bat. I did not like it.
Still have no materia slots?
It still has no materia slots baseline.
Oh well.
I mean, you can add materia slots to it by leveling it up, but I did not like the nail bat in the original Final Fantasy VII, and I don't like it here either. But now it's out of the way. I don't have to worry about it. I learned its thing, and now I don't have to ever touch it again.
It also used to have a ridiculous attack power for when you got it.
It does, but the lack of materia is a killer.
Yeah, it's kind of killer the original too.
Yep.
I mean, it's especially bad here because there's some real good materia you want. Does it also not have a summons materia?
I think you always have a summon materia.
I
think you always have a summon materia.
I think you always have a summon materia.
This is the best implementation of summons I've seen in a Final Fantasy game, by the way.
It is true.
Just full stop. These are the best. This is the coolest summons have ever felt.
Congratulations, you have displaced FF10.
Yeah, right? Like,
that's pretty impressive.
Because the summon mechanic, I don't know what triggers the bar to start filling. I think it's just certain.
It needs to be a certain amount of time in a boss fight or a somewhat difficult fight.
Yeah, and so when the bar fills, you summon. You
can summon.
You can summon. When you summon, you create another creature on the field that fights, and you can have. Is it any character can burn ATB?
Any character can use ATB to command it to do things.
Yeah, so you could burn on ATB on any character to get it to do things. It slowly runs out of time. It doesn't seem to take damage.
I have no idea.
That one I'm not 100% clear on that one. And then it does its ult when it runs out of time automatically. So like Hellfire, Diamond Dust, 10,000 Needles.
Oh, I don't think
I've been rather disappointed by the damage of 10,000 Needles, but also it instantly staggered everything it hit.
Yep.
So that was the end of that fight.
I'll be honest, as cute as the like deluxe edition summons are, and fun to get them off the bat and like summon little Cactuar, like as soon as you get real summons,
the real summons are way better.
Yeah, I'm just like Ifrit is got it. Okay, yes.
I think Cactuar was the pre-order summon.
Might be.
Yeah.
I wish I could set a default character to control at the start of combat.
You can.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It took me a bit to figure that one out. You are always walking around the map as Cloud, but as soon as combat starts, you switch to the other character.
Nice. Because I'm really bad at getting the other characters' like weapon unlocks. They have. I really like that they took a cue from Final Fantasy Tactics / other games where every weapon has an ability and you can learn those abilities, and once you learn the ability you can use it no matter what weapon you've got.
I think FF9 was the first game to do that.
I thought FF9 came after FF Tactics.
The original Tactics didn't do that though. Tactics Advance was the first one of those to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was job stuff in original FF Tactics.
Yep.
But yes, either way, it's a really cool mechanic. It makes me want to use a variety of weapons, but not feel saddled with a weapon I hate, like the nail bat.
I would really, really like to get Barrett's first unlock, though. I have not had a lot of luck staggering enemies with his big shot thing.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like I have an alternate weapon for him, so that can wait a while.
I find myself craving Barrett on my team again because I need some, like, beef. My team is fragile.
I mean, I found an HP materia really early and gave it to Tifa, and she is definitely my toughest character at the moment.
Where do you fit an HP materia in?
Currently, she doesn't have a whole lot of magic going on.
That's fair.
She's got chakra on her weapon, and she's got the HP materia on her weapon, and I think she's got, like, maybe protect on her weapon?
I've got I'm running an element materia so that she has lightning attacks.
Yeah, I don't have any of those yet.
Because that is dumb. P.S. There is a section that you'll get to in which, at the end of it, if you haven't gotten everything, Barrett will say, hey, didn't you see some materia? Do you want to go back and get it? And the answer is yes. Yes, you do. You want at least one of those, because element materia on Tifa is so dumb.
She just hits super fast.
Yep.
It's the a lot of little numbers case.
Yep.
Except when you hit her buff button a few times, it becomes not a lot of little numbers anymore.
It's just a lot of big numbers.
Which buff button are you referring to?
Unbridled Strength. It boosts buffs for normal attacks, too.
Oh, does it?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not realize that.
It's dumb. You can get some, like, ridiculous monk buff stacking going on Tifa, and she just, like, melts through things.
Like, it's nice to rise and fall, Omni-Strike, whatever the other thing is, to finish something. But until you need to do that, she can just normal punch away for a while.
Yep.
Or tornado kick if you still have extra ATB.
And if you wanted to play more Assassin's Creed, you can hop into Cloud's power stance.
I have found that the most effective way to take down certain enemy types.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's mostly what I've been using whenever I don't have Tifa. But I gave him the dodge attack materia, and that's
also
very
good.
fun. Yeah. When I'm playing Cloud, I'm playing Dark Souls.
That one dual boss fight, I found that to be an incredibly effective approach.
The one with Mr. Motorcycle?
Yes.
Yeah, that was really effective.
Like, the second half, he just rushes you constantly, and it's like, okay, feel free to keep trying that.
Yeah, well, I see you're winding up. Let's hit the dodge button, and now you're in my back. Now I'm in your back arc. Well, let's slash away.
But I didn't even do that. If you drop into Punisher stance and just block it, you instantly counter for a lot of his health.
Yep,
wow.
It's amazing. That's how I fought him too. By the way, all of the additional characterization for Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse is like a knife in my heart. Because I went into it as like, okay, I'm not gonna. I know where this is going. I'm not gonna let myself no.
Yes, if you play the original, you know those characters are not gonna make it. But yet, I'm still growing attached to them because they gave them a bunch of additional characterization. Also, Biggs looks like Charlie Sheen. He
does. I can't unsee it now that I've seen it.
Biggs what?
Looks like Charlie Sheen.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. No, I love Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. They are hilarious.
Jessie has come a very long way from tutorial voice.
It's true. Now she is... you know what? She is very much thirsty for Cloud, but that puts her in good company. This game is incredibly horny. It's very weird at times. Jessie flirts with you constantly. And the game does... So part of it is that the game's camera is also, doing some lingering shots, which are... I don't know how I feel about those all the time. A lot of lingering shots of Tifa with her head just above the camera.
There's a couple of shots that it really likes. There's the Tifa's torso and mouth. There's Sephiroth's lips and upper chest. There's Barrett's ass. There's Biggs's back. You get a whole lot of Biggs's back and legs.
But you also have Jessie constantly trying to flirt with you, and also she is both very flirty, but everyone, there's also this sense of Tifa is there's so far Tifa is a little bit there's something going on there at this point, and your landlady, who plays a pretty big role in this, is kind of there to encourage it. And then you've got Jessie And I don't know. It's a lot of people make comments on your appearance,
including Roche.
It's true. There is you fight another soldier, which is, man, they make soldiers feel badass, like crazy superheroes.
Yes, they make soldiers feel badass, and
I mean, Cloud was a giant sword with one hand most of the time.
It's true, but there's Cloud isn't actually a soldier, and when you see a real one, you're like, oh, ooh.
I mean, okay, fine. I went through Crisis Core punching dudes to death with Zack, but even so.
The other character who gets a whole lot of... There's a whole bunch of characters that get a lot of personality from the game being fully voiced, not just main characters. The real standout is Aerith's mom.
I mean, previously she had about the same personality as your mom in a Pokemon game.
Yep. She has, like, one notable moment in the game. And it's sort of largely true here as well. But, like, her being a fully voiced character is not subtle. I also like Aerith a whole lot more in this version.
The problem I had with Aerith is by the time I played Final Fantasy VII, I already knew the big spoiler, which made me want to invest zero effort into the character.
I mean, even knowing that Biggs and Wedge and Jesse are gonna die, you're like... So one of the things is, thus far, and I don't know if they're gonna keep doing this, the game makes you play with certain characters.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're eventually gonna get to the part where you have a party, and some characters get left behind. Speaking of,
I mean, even if we get to that point, there would be, at most, 5 characters?
That's true in this game. Wait, is there even 5 characters?
Yep.
I'm forgetting one.
Are you forgetting Sid, or are you forgetting Red 13? Because Red 13 is not going to be a playable character.
I didn't realize Sid was a playable character at this point.
I'd be very surprised if he was.
Yeah, I don't expect to see that.
Yeah.
He's late Disc 1, isn't he?
We're not getting to the end of Disc 1.
I guess that's fair. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, it's worth noting that, like, Disc 1 is a lot longer than Midgar, and Midgar start to finish is like 4 hours?
It's a 4-hour game.
Like, Midgar start to finish is fast in the original. It feels like forever.
A lot happens, and honestly, it's very compressed, and it doesn't have any time to breathe. It's all of the memorable stuff, though. Like, all of the memorable scenes from Final Fantasy VII happen in Midgard. But all of, like, the memorable character stuff happens later on in the game. And they've solved this problem by making you do all of the memorable scenes in Midgard, and also all of the memorable character stuff is here too.
I don't feel like all of them... I feel like there are memorable scenes in Midgard, but there are a lot of memorable scenes past Midgard in the original.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember that the entire, like, sequence where you're hanging out with Sephiroth and you learn about Nibelheim the first time is after Midgar.
I realize that.
See also Aerith.
I mean, I guess the most memorable connective tissue. I feel like there are great scenes, but there's not that, like, connective through line.
I mean, connective through line for pretty much the entire rest of the game is Sephiroth.
Yeah, because you don't actually catch up with Sephiroth until...
I don't think we even see Sephiroth on screen in the original game until the, like, village, where you have that flashback and he's burning it down.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting seeing a lot of the stuff that they pull forward in, like, weird little flashbacks.
Well, or Sephiroth actively messing with yous.
I don't know if Sephiroth is...
I'm not sure if that's a real thing or not.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like, there's some other extremely meta differences that I am very curious about. Because you know what also wasn't in the original? Ghosts.
Yeah. That's the other thing I was thinking. I was like, whoa, what's going on with these Mako ghosts?
I don't know. They only get weirder, FYI. The music is incredible. Not that I'm surprised, but it's worth mentioning.
Hip Hop de Chocobo.
That one is special. But yeah, I could definitely use multiple remixes of already the arguably best boss theme in gaming.
Yeah, right? There's a lot of remixes of various battle themes for different sections.
I mean, I guess they only really had 2 to work with for this section of the game.
Yep.
So they've done a lot of work with them.
They have done a lot of work with them, including easily my favorite version of it. Do you remember the weird Pops and Kazoo theme that's associated with Wall Market and Don Corneo?
Yes.
That's it's this weird theme, and it's in the original. It was this goofy theme to downplay how messed up Wall Market is. So in this one, they don't skip that at all. They're like, no, this place is awful. FYI, this place is crazy awful. And that theme is repurposed into a battle theme. And it's amazing. It is a hilarious side quest battle theme against some frankly really annoying enemies, because I hate anything that steals.
Oh.
But it's very funny. The other thing that I've noticed is that certain bosses that were kind of pushovers before are a lot harder, and other bosses that were horrific hate mongers are surprisingly not.
Yeah, the Guard Scorpion being your ATB tutorial boss.
That Guard Scorpion sucks. That fight is brutal. I do want more motorcycle. That was a ton of fun.
The motorcycle was really fun.
Honestly, all of the little side mini games thus far have been fun. Because man, I'd forgotten how many of those there were. I've been going through. I'm like, oh right, that's a mini game.
Big fan of the the darts. It's time to get good at the darts.
I won't lie, you're kind of scaring me, because there's 2 things that I just hate in Final Fantasy games: mini games and not being able to play with a party of my choice.
Well, I mean, in this case, it's not. It's the party of your choice thing is no different than the original game was. It's literally the same. Your same party options at the same story beats.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it takes in the original, you didn't have a choice of who was in your party until after you left Midgar. I don't know if that's going to happen here. I suspect it won't, but
Midgar's real short in the original game.
Midgar's real short in the original game. The minigames, I really like them because they're surprisingly well thought out, and you also don't have to care at all.
I mean, you kind of need to care about the motorcycle thing.
That's fair, but that's actually more plugged into the combat than the original was. I did the motorcycle. I loved the motorcycle scene the first time I did it, and by the 10th time I did it, I was really annoyed by it because the save point is right before the motorcycle sequence, and the boss immediately after it in the original sucked. So I did it a lot. I do love all the people who try to call Cloud bro. He's like,
not your bro.
Not your bro.
This hasn't stopped Witch at all.
No, it doesn't stop anybody.
I do enjoy how awkward Cloud is.
Cloud is super awkward, and the Cloud's characterization is fantastic in this one. Pretty much, I don't know, I feel like it kicked into really high gear as far as characterization goes, just before the Sector 5 mission. But as soon as I got there, it was oh, hey, by the way, we're going to have some character arcs. And also fully voiced and people chatting in the background as you run around dungeons is great. There's a whole section that I've been playing through where 2 people in my party are having conversations with each other, and it's fleshing out both of them, and they're both not really talking to Cloud because Cloud doesn't say anything. So they're just chatting with each other. Really funny. Cloud's like, wait, are you talking about me? And they're like, nah.
I did have a moment where Barrett decided to just bust out the classic victory music.
That's amazing. That alone makes me want Barrett in my party. Is just him singing the victory theme.
I think more or less I'm going to start it tomorrow.
It's good.
It's very good. I'm going to be super sad when the tragedy that happens to Midgar happens in this game. I'm I'm really liking even like the little mini quests where it's like, hey, get your name up. Make sure people know who you are, because you're going to be a mercenary who's working in this area for a while, right?
Yep, right, absolutely.
The mini quest hubs, I was like, I don't know if I feel like doing a bunch of side quests. I guess I'll do the one that they require me to do. And then I did that one and was like, all right, well...
And then I did all the others.
And then I did all the others. And then I got to the next quest hub. I was like, oh, this is so many of them. But, well, I guess I'll do them.
The game's really fun. I'm really enjoying doing a combat.
Yes. I didn't like finding cats.
I did not like finding cats.
No.
Cloud
I was concerned that I was doing that quest wrong. And I was glad that Cloud's reaction was the same as mine.
Yes. I agree. This sucks.
So is it the equivalent of find all the chocobos from Zelda games?
Basically.
I mean, there's 2 cats that are really easy to find and one that's somewhat more difficult to find.
Wait, is the one that's more difficult the one where... Okay, so I actually had a woman breadcrumb me into the more difficult to find cat.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. That was actually the first one I found because I saw a green exclamation mark, and WoW has taught me I must click.
Oh, no, I did not see that.
The map is really good, by the way.
Is there a mini-map?
No.
Okay.
I wish. But the big map is magical.
Like, it's not Fallen Order tier, but it's still pretty good.
Right. I mean, Fallen Order is a ridiculous map.
So, I'm trying to remember. What happened in the original game when they were trying to put a crew together to go to Sector 5?
Nothing. You just went.
You just went?
You just went.
I loved... They successfully made me feel so awkward in that moment.
Jessie didn't go because she injured herself in the Sector 1 reactor.
Yes, but at no point, like, Jessie didn't go.
Yeah, but that was the only real thing.
But that was the only real thing. There wasn't, like, crowning moment of awkwardness. Although, there are so many amazing awkward Cloud moments. Like, I have to say, anytime that you are walking around the overworld as somebody who isn't Cloud, you're about to have a good time.
Because everyone's so nice to you?
Because something funny is probably about to happen.
I mean, people are eventually really nice to Cloud. Mostly.
I do think that I like Wall Market better in this version than in the previous one, in the original. Mostly because, like, in the original, they kind of papered over how awful this place actually is by making it goofy.
Yeah.
They don't really skimp on that one here. It's not great. And, like, there's also some wacky stuff that goes on. But, like, the game is not afraid to be silly. And I appreciate it manages to be silly and fun and also serious. I wish I liked Wedge more. I have the same, like...
Wedge is a little too dumb.
I have the same frustration. Like, when I run into a character who's, like, supposed to be the adorable, dumb goofball, I have the same reaction as Belle does about the doesn't trust you party member.
I think it's possible to do that character well, and I think Wedge is a little too dumb to do that character well.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Wedge is kind of an artifact of the original game, where it wasn't, like, the whole eco-terrorism thing was not so dark in the original, and so, like, Wedge doesn't feel like he fits.
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the things is, I understand why Biggs is there. I definitely understand why Jessie is there. I have yet to be given the reason for why Biggs is fighting.
He wasn't doing anything else that night.
I mean, I would like a little more character motivation than that. And I like, maybe it'll get there. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, definitely I get why. The weird thing is, I get why Biggs is fighting. I get why Jessie's fighting. I get why Barrett's fighting, obviously. I get why Tifa's fighting. I get what Wedge's role is. I don't know I don't really understand his motivations. I'm personally, just to stay on theme with the game, my personal, like, headcanon is that he's there for Biggs.
I always assumed that he was just friends with Biggs and Jessie and was along for the ride.
Well, I mean, That's definitely a little bit less true here. Again, it's a lot more serious, but there's definitely a reason why Jesse is there. The characterization of Biggs is that like he's very, very thoughtful, and like I can see how somebody who is very, very thoughtful would lead them down the path of like, we're killing the planet with these Mako reactors, and somebody has to do something about it.
I was this week old when I realized I've been pronouncing Mako wrong for 23 years.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people are.
Yep. And it makes sense when you think about it.
When you think about the Japanese pronunciation of things, a lot of things like that make sense.
Yeah.
But I never did. So, Mako.
Yeah.
It still sounds real weird to hear Mako.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense now, but
so far the game seems to be extremely well received.
It's
like I've been watching Twitter, and everyone talks about it very glowingly.
It's better than it has any right to be.
It is. I'm really curious to see like where they go with this whole thing, though. Like, are we gonna get like? Are they gonna carry your characters over to the next game? Does that even matter?
I'm here for it. I don't even know, but like Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time, and like it's this like this is one of those things where it's like I did not expect this game to be good. I knew I was going to play it, but I did not expect that I was going to like it. In the same way that like when you see your favorite book turned into a movie, you're like, I'm probably going to go see this, but I'm probably also going to be sad about it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's like I keep having the moment where I'll walk up to a vista, or I'll just like look around, like just pan around with the camera, and parts of my imagination, because the game didn't show you very much. Parts of my
pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah, like between what people were telling me and the pre-rendered backgrounds, there's like parts of my imagination that are being filled in seamlessly, where it's like it's not just everything I imagined, but it's filling out stuff that I couldn't imagine. Like, oh hey, how is it lit under the plates? I hadn't even considered that, but it's cool. The game will tell you. It's a major plot point, or sort of major plot point. I do wish that Cloud were more ruthless and just stabbed Don Corneo at the first opportunity.
I'm looking forward to playing more of this.
Same.
It's real good.
I think I'll be starting it tomorrow also, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So that probably was Final Fantasy VII Remake, at least for this week.
At least for now.
I think we have like a couple minutes. So one last topic. I decided that I will die on the hill that the new PlayStation 5 controller is awesome looking.
I'm here for it. Yes.
Wait.
No.
That's a hill that people are like. That's an argument.
People do not like it.
What?
Why?
I don't know. Like
it's different.
They've come up with all kinds of weird reasons not to, but like for me, it's
okay. So there is a specific reason why I might not like it, in that it has a microphone built in. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, like I think it's cool. Like it's this weird amalgam of the aesthetics of like Tron Legacy and the Portal robots.
I do also want it to come in black, though. You know, that should be an option.
They have it in black. I've seen pictures of it.
I've seen Photoshops of it.
Oh.
I haven't seen any official pictures of it.
The Photoshop that somebody made it look like a PlayStation Classic was amazing. Not so much as the Photoshop where they made it look like Strong Sad. Not Strong Strong Mad.
Yeah.
I thought that one was funny.
But like it looks freaking cool. I'm on board with it. Like if this is an indication of what the stylings of the PlayStation 5 in general are going to look like, I am hopeful.
Yeah, but I don't really care what the box looks like.
I want it to be an orb, Ash. I want someone to make an orb-shaped console. This is Sony. They've done crazier things before.
I mean, Microsoft decided the Series X should be a tall box that won't fit underneath my TV, so, you know, whatever.
Wait, really?
Yes.
That's the actual... I thought that was I thought that was a joke.
No, that's the actual...
That's the one they showed.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's basically the form factor of a really large Bluetooth speaker.
What?
I mean, like it makes sense the way
I have legitimately for months thought that was like it trolling on the internet.
Nope.
That's what it looks like.
They showed that at the Game Awards.
It's purposeful because like it's all about the airflow and the cooling system.
I'm not going to buy it.
But it doesn't fit under my TV.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like it doesn't fit. I'm not going to buy it.
You'll have to put it horizontal.
Why did they not make it that way?
But apparently it operates in either form factor.
That said, the PS2 was advertised vertically as well. And I don't know anyone who actually kept it that way.
No.
It did have a rotating logo on the front.
It did. The PS3 did too.
That's so silly.
Man, okay, so this is me being dense. I got my PS3 secondhand. I have one of the original big boy PS3s that'll run PlayStation 2 games.
Yep.
And I did not realize that the shiny bits on the front flipped up to show I/O ports for like card readers and stuff. I had no clue until I was watching the video talking about like the different versions of PS3, and I'm like, wait, does mine do that? Yes, it does. Like,
Isn't that where the USB ports are?
No, the USB ports are in a different place. All that's underneath there are the camera card readers, basically the SD card, and I think it's got like a CF reader even.
Okay, I knew that opened up, but I don't remember what was under there.
Lord.
But like, I've never had a need to use any of those with a PS3.
But a PS3 is supposed to be a media all-in-one device, so that's why those are there.
No, it's just a PS3. I mean,
if this sounds familiar, like, maybe how they advertise the Xbox One.
Right. Like, and maybe Microsoft should have learned from Sony's mistake, because like, I realized they sold a lot of PS3s just because it had a Blu-ray player.
Uh-huh.
Like, nobody turned it into a home entertainment system, like, for all their media.
I mean, I did just joke about the Xbox One. My PS4 is my TV device because it's the one that's got streaming apps on it. I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, the internet is apparently not all on board with that controller design, but I am.
That's a shame. It's a neat design.
Yeah. And like, for me, really the thing is it looks like it might be more comfortable for me. Because there's the thing with the current DualShock 4 that something about the shape, like the way that I end up having to grip it because I have stupidly large hands, ends up making my pinkies fall asleep. So I have to kind of like purposefully like do pinkies out, which in itself is weird. But anyway, I think that's it. And I think that's time for a show. Any final thoughts?
The Honeybee Inn is the weirdest. Seeing it rendered in full 3D with like costumes and everything, I did not really internalize how really weird that theming is for your like brothel / burlesque performance storefront. That place is weird. Just FYI.
Yep.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed the show, and we will see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Laters.
See ya.